Okay, so what we're going to talk about now is entrepreneurialism and where the instinct to trade comes from and why anybody, has that instinct. If we take someone famous like Richard Branson, for example, I think he's worth something like 3 or 4 billion. Why has he gone ahead and raced ahead of front of pretty well everybody? I think he's the 12th, maybe 6th richest person in the UK. He's got an awful lot of money. And if you look at his school reports, he pretty well was a failure. I think his teacher said to him, look, Richard, when he left school, you're either going to be a millionaire or you're going to be in prison. And frankly, a lot of entrepreneurs, you could say that they are like that. The reason being is if you ever work with people in prison, which I have done on occasion, they have a propensity to be dyslexic, and so is Richard Branson, Alan Sugar, and a lot of Jamie Oliver, a lot of entrepreneurs. The reason being is that gives them a perspective in life that isn't the ones that the mainstream person actually has. It gives them an alternative perspective. And they have to use their trading instinct to get themselves ahead. They have to say, look, I need to do this, to this, to this, to achieve this. And it's not like I'm going to go to the employment market, I've got a certificate, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to work for somebody, and I'm going to have an income, and I'm going to get security, and I'm going to get a house, I'm going to get a kid, I'm going to move forward like that. If that's your priority and that's your goal in life, then that's the one you will move to, you will gravitate towards that. But if you have that sort of trading instinct to want to really get ahead, you have a sense of ambition, and this can be in anyone. It's for a lot of us, it's very much suppressed down at school. But you can re-engage that, and that's the first thing what we're going to do. We're going to try to re-engage your trading instinct by getting you to put your toe in the water with the first level, which is the junior level, and you're going to learn it. Once you enroll in that, you're going to immediately be able to make money from the wealth activation system. Not so much as an affiliate, but just as a starting point. And what that means is you're going to get 70% of anybody that you get to enroll into the program. Now, I don't expect you to go out there and sort of like, oh, how could I get people to enroll into this program? All you have to do really is actually point people to an online training that's free, that will help them in their lives. Whether they choose to go on the program or not is up to you. But I will give you a mechanism where that money, if they do enroll, comes automatically to you. I want you to feel that when you've spoken to somebody about things that you've learnt from me, that you can immediately say, okay, I'm going to have a chat with somebody about this and see what they think about it. And if they're the kind of person that does want to get on in life and does want to get somewhere and they need a little bit of a helping hand, you can point them in that direction and get a reward for doing so. And that will be all automated. You don't have to ask them for any money. You don't have to be involved in it other than give them a link to the program. But that's the first step. It starts you to engage in a little bit further than just going, okay, I'm learning this, I'm actually transferring the knowledge on. And really that's you doing it on your own. You're not going to get very far doing this. I mean, if you look at affiliate programs for all these products, they're all people working on their own, trying to get somewhere. And it's hard work, and I'm really not into hard work. You'll gather that. I'm into using my brain to actually get myself ahead in certain ways. If you take my career way back when I was a salesperson, when I was a kid, not a kid so much, but when in my 20s, I just left my previous employment, and I thought I'd go freelance as a salesperson. So I got this job, and the company had about 200 salespeople, and I was doing pretty well. But this guy that I met, he was earning maybe 3 times the amount of money as me. I was earning, I don't know, I can't remember, maybe 4,000 a month, and he was earning maybe, I think, 12,000 a month at the time. And I thought, what is he doing that's so different to me? So I watched what he was doing from afar, and I could see that there were certain techniques that he was using in maybe body language. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but he was certainly doing it in a way that I'd never seen before, and he was so much better than anybody else. So I introduced myself to him, and I asked him if he would maybe help me, teach me what he was doing. And he said, yeah, of course, but it's going to cost you. I said, well, what's it going to cost you? He said, well, all of last week's salary and half of everything else till I've finished teaching you. Okay, that was quite an ask back then. I think we were talking about 20, 30, 25 years ago. It was quite a big chunk of change. But it didn't take me too long to realise, because he put it in a very, very powerful way. He said, look, I can triple your income which means if you're on 40,000 this year, you're going to be on 120,000 next year, which means over 10 years you're going to be, you know, a lot more money. You do the math, or math if you're American. You're going to be on a lot more money just by investing a little bit right now. And I said, well, fair enough. So I trundled off down to Cash Point, got him his money, and immediately stopped working and sat with him for a full week. I sucked his brain dry of everything he did, and I watched what he was doing, the techniques that he was using, the skills of body language, as I said, but the way he phrased language, the way he made a product, it was what he wanted to sell. It was always the same product, but it made it exactly what they wanted. He was a master manipulator of people, and they loved him for it. They loved his character, his personality, the way he built instant rapport. You know, the women he was talking to, they give him a kiss goodbye quite happily after he'd taken quite a lot of money off them. And he really was the best I ever saw. But using the skills that I modeled from him, I managed to replicate that. It took me a while once I'd learned them, to apply them, but I immediately started applying them. It was very important to do so. And as I practiced those skills, I suddenly started to sell more and more and more people and work my way up to where he was as far as the potential that I could achieve. Once I'd done that, I wanted to move forward. I was always wanting to learn more so I could get myself forward. And this is very much what the Wealth Activation System teaches you. It's not about getting to a certain point and going, okay, I'm happy, that's my comfort zone. You can do that, of course you can. But the point of the Wealth Activation System is to take you towards financial freedom. And that means teaching you about residual income, passive income, about how to see opportunities and develop opportunities, a bit like the entrepreneurial spirit, like Richard Branson, seeing opportunities. What the difference is between a businessman and an entrepreneur is a businessman, let's take, I don't know, toads for argument's sake. Let's say you were fascinated with toads and you wanted to sell them, and you set up a shop selling toads. An interesting idea, but you'd be doing it for the love of it, and you'd be changing your role, your job, from working for someone else to working for yourself, which really fundamentally means working double the time and sometimes for not a lot of money, because you've got all the risk and the responsibility. And that's why self-employment, running your own business, isn't such a cool gig. It really is just doing the same thing, and I don't know, I think of it as a pain in the arse, frankly. There's probably one of a million that does, but I do. Everyone beats on about, become your own boss, but I think the next way is become your own free person, free spirit, earning money and having financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't running your own business. It certainly isn't. So what a difference between a businessman is. A businessman is someone who sets up like that and they make a business of trading toads in this particular example. What an entrepreneur is someone who sees a niche like that. They see, look, someone here has got a business here. They're doing very well because a lot of people are buying toads from this person. But I could do it, and I'll put a little twist on it, and I could do it with frogs as well, because I can see that there's a vast number of people coming into this shop that are asking for frogs, and the guy's just going, no, I sell toads, mate. I like toads. I don't like frogs. So the entrepreneur sees opportunity. He sees other people's problems and he comes up with a solution, or he sees a potential advantage to take advantage of. Oftentimes an entrepreneur is going to be winging it. They're going to be breaking the rules, and to get ahead in society you certainly have to do so. When I was, like I said, about 25 years ago, before the internet was there, people were sort of channeled into what they wanted to do. And as you grew up, people ask you, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do for a living? What do you want to be? And I kind of said to people, I want to be retired. And they looked at me rather oddly. And I said, well, I can see my grandparents, and all they ever talk about is what they're going to do in their retirement. I kind of want to cut out the middle bit, the 40 years or whatever years it's going to be, and just go for the retirement, enjoy myself. It sounds a bit more pleasurable. And so that's what I did. My mindset was completely different. I thought, okay, life is going to be a retirement, so I'm going to start with that in mind and do what I want in my retirement. If that involves doing a bit of work for somebody or trying to make a million or get rich, well, that's so be it. It doesn't mean in retirement you can't do that. So my life has been retired. It's a strange way of looking at life, but it's an alternative way. And as an entrepreneur, you tend to find that you do want to take on different perspectives. I said in the previous video a little bit about how that there is different ways we channel thought, and at the moment what I'm talking to you about is going through a filter in front of you, which is about generalization, distortion and deletion. The information that's coming to you is going to be interpreted by you based on your experiences to date, what your value and belief system is, and those words that I'm using is going to either turn you off or turn you on. Ultimately, I've got to pin you against your future goal, and that's what it is. I've got to say, look, it's the pill that I'm going to talk to you about might not be fantastic for you to think about right now based on your perception, because you might think of that pill as, I don't want to take it. I want to go over here because that's really where I want to be. But earlier in this series of training videos, I mentioned a corridor with a door in front of it that you can look down, and that's your goal in front of you. But the trick to coaching is when you take someone towards that goal and they go into the room at the end of the corridor, their perspective changes. They see in the environment with 360 degrees. So the goal that they were going for isn't necessarily the one they want at that moment. So the journey starts, and what you want from it can change. It's all very well going for the goal, but don't make that the thing that is the be-all and end-all, because what you find with people is they go for this goal, I've got it. Big sense of disappointment, big sense of flatness. What am I going to do next in life? What am I going to achieve now? It's a bit like climbing a mountain, getting to the top. Okay, I've now got to go and climb another mountain. That is an important concept to appreciate, that where you think you want to be right now may very well change. Do not be, dominated by your goal. Set your goal in the future, the one that you want right now, but be prepared to change it as you go. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break and come back into the next video, and then we'll go a bit further into that.